Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and in this one we're going to talk about the news that the Medway Valley Line is coming out in Train Sim World because it was part of Season of Reveals Week 2. So we've not discussed this yet, so I want to talk a little bit about the route as it will be in Train Sim World, and then what we're going to do then is in the second part of this video we're going to jump into Train Simulator Classic and we're going to run a chunk of the route as it appears currently in Train Simulator Classic, because I've had that route for a long time and I realised, this jogged my memory, and I realised when this was revealed on Monday that I haven't played it in Train Simulator Classic. So I've got a scenario for that. We'll review the details that we've got for Train Simulator and we'll jump straight into it. And you never know, as well as it being a first look for me in Train Sim Classic, it might also be for you. So we'll go over a bit of the history of the line, as we usually do. We'll have a look at some of the landmarks, etc. as we go up the route, so that's in part 2. So what about Train Sim World itself? Well, this is coming out from some new developers, well, the community modders, and the name they've given themselves for this is Firefly Simulations. Great name, isn't it? And this is looking like it's going to be quite a detailed route, so let's have a look what we're going to get. It's very closely linked to the Southeastern High Speed. Let's just look at the map first. So if you're already a player of Train Sim World, you will have probably played the Southeastern High Speed, and if you haven't, why have you not? So you can see up here, if you just look up at the top, we have got the Southeastern High Speed Dartford and St Pancras up here, number 1, and it comes all the way down. The black line is going to Faversham down this end. Strood, which is where this line begins at one end, is here, number 4. So normally at Strood, you go off to, if you're playing the Train Sim World Southeastern High Speed, you come down here and you go off to Rochester and then onto Chatham, etc., and down this way, Gillingham. So here we are coming off to the right hand side and we're coming down and following the River Medway all the way down, hence the Medway Valley. So what do you get? Well, you get 26 miles of new track, which runs from Strood, which is here, as I just mentioned, number 4. It comes all the way down to Tunbridge, which is down here, number 27. Now, in Train Simulator Classic today, once we jump into there, we're actually going to go from here, Paddock Wood, all the way along up to Strood. So you'll get to see most of it. Train Simulator Classic does include Tunbridge, but there are not many scenarios that take us all the way to Tunbridge, so I've decided to do this one from Paddock Wood. That's what we're going to do. So, as well as that 26 miles from Strood to Tunbridge, you also get part of the Southeastern High Speed, which is part of this route. That's 13 miles updated. So, this is the updated section that you're going to get. Now, it doesn't say, it says it's updated, but it doesn't say how it's updated at the moment. So I don't know what difference that is going to make to what you've already seen in the Southeastern High Speed. It says there's varied lines, speeds, lots of crossings and whistleboards. We'll see that hopefully when we get into Train Simulator Classic. And there's going to be some opportunities to use some of your stock from the Southeastern High Speed, because there is quite a bit, isn't there, for the Southeastern High Speed if you've got the full set. So this is going to be a 2025 era timetable. So it's going to be very, very recent, the most recent, in fact. You're going to be able to use the 395 Javelin, the 465. You're going to be able to use the Thameslink Class 700 and Cargo Line 2 for the freight. And it says and more. So I don't know what the and more actually means, but that's shaping up to be a decent route, and we'll look at it in Train Sim Classic and you can make your own mind up. If you're excited for this route, leave me a comment, let me know, is this your local route? Are you already familiar with this? Are you a big fan of it in Train Simulator Classic? I think from what I've heard, this is going to be a very good route. So let's have a look at it in Train Simulator Classic and we'll see how we go. Welcome to Train Simulator Classic and the Medway Valley Line then. So here we go. We are down at Paddock Wood. We're going all the way up to Strood. We'll get the 375 all set up and then we'll have a talk about exactly where we're stopping, what we're doing, etc, etc. So, first of all, master key on, then we'll put it into forwards. That's the first thing. Just acknowledge that. Now, the doors We're not guard operated doors. We'll get those open, shall we? We can do the GSMR. Now, we are going to get, according to the article, we're going to get an upgraded GSMR as part of this Medway Valley route in Train Sim World. So that'll be really good. We'll go for the motion steer because this, of course, is the AP 375, which has the functioning GSMR. So I think we are 2T51 and signal 195. So 2T51 and signal 195. Just register that. And that's all you do with it. But I've said this before and, you know, a few times. I quite enjoy doing that just from the immersion perspective. So if we can get that level of functionality in Train Sim World as well, that would be great. Let's do the lights first on this side, shall we? And we need to get them onto day running. We need to turn off the tail lights. And then we can set up this screen over here. So first of all, doors, driver only. No, we don't want that. Driver ID, we just enter 5 random digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and press enter. Destination showing us Paddock Wood. We need to change that. And we need to go to 1042, which should be Strood. And indeed it is, because that's where we're going. So we'll just send that. Just double check outside. The guide's ready to go. There we go, Strood. That's good. We'll bell him back. We'll take off the DRA, and then I believe we are ready to go. I think we are a 3-car. We are indeed. We are a 3-car. 375/3. You can't change this. You have to be 8 or you have to be 4 on there. So we'll have to leave it at 4 for this one. But yeah, here we go. 25 miles per hour out of Paddock Wood. So we'll get to cover the majority of what we'll get in TSW in this run. It's about 45 minutes-ish, something like that. By the way, up to Tunbridge Wells is further up this way. That's where Tunbridge Wells is. There are a few scenarios where you can do that, but not many. So this scenario is by Frankie Bot. You can get it on TS Community, I think. Definitely on Alan Thompson Sim, if you want to pick it up. And go and check that out. It's using all the AP stuff, which is a bit better than the standard stock. Although, the standard stock on this route actually isn't that bad in TS Classic. It's not that bad. We should have the DVD on, of course. And our first stop is Beltring. Let's just have a look at the stops, actually. Beltring, Yaldin, Wateringbury, East Farley, Maidstone West, Maidstone Barracks, Aylesford, New Hythe, Snodland, Palling, Buxton, and then finally Strood. Getting into Strood at 17:49. Of course, you know Strood if you've only been playing TSW, and you've got the Southeastern High Speed, as I said in the intro. You will recognise that when we get right to the end. So we'll have a look at that. So I want you to show you the route map first in TSW, then you can get your bearings. We'll go through a little bit of the history of the Medway Valley Line, which is taken from the Steam manual for this route. And we'll also talk a little bit more through the article that Dovetail put out on Monday for the season of reveals about what we're going to get in Train Sim World for this. So let's ease up there at 50. Totally new to the route, so speeds, stopping distances, all that. If I miss one, well, it's a normal Tintin 57 video, isn't it? But that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. We'll see how we get on. But let's prepare to come into Beltring. First of all, we've got a warning board, because it did say there is ample opportunity to use the horn on this route. So I'm assuming there's a lot of foot crossings, etc. We'll come in cautiously to start with till I get used to it. But there we go. There is the 375 exterior. Looks good, doesn't it? And we'll talk about what little detail they've given us about the stock, etc., as well as we go through. So I'm probably coming in a little bit too hot here, but there's the stock marker. We'll see how we get on. Let's just ease it back. Yeah, this is beltering. There we go. Let's get the doors open. The guard is doing the doors. Couple of people getting on. So I think from what I could see in the manual, some of the stations are like this. Some of the stations are actually quite nice looking. There is a little bit of a story about the guy that the contractor that worked on the route and a particular station. We'll cover that in the history once we get underway. But yeah, there's a good mix. And there's also on this route, as I understand it, a good mix of the countryside like this end and a little bit industrial as well as we move on towards Strood, which we'll see hopefully as well. So let's put it in notch 3. We've got 4 notches of power on the 375. Yoldin is next. We can actually get up to 70 on this section as well, which is quite good. So I'll put it in notch 4. Let me bring up the history first of all, which is from the Steam manual, ready for when we come out of Yoldin. I think I'll drive the thing to Yoldin first, then we don't have any misdemeanors on the way. Quite a few crossings coming off if you look in the hood. Quite a few warning boards. So we'll have to make sure we hit these if we can. There's the first one. Wow, look at them all. Busy place on the approach to Yoldin, I'll tell you. Here's another. Let's take the power off as we come in. We'll put it in step 1. Just acknowledge that. Make sure we're down to 30 while we manage these warning boards. There's a lot going on here, actually. Especially when you're using the keyboard and you're all fingers and thumbs. But we'll come nicely down to the 30 for the approach to Yoldin. But not too slow. With a 375 there. This is a quiet train, by the way, so I don't know what sound. You're getting a little bit of the sound, but obviously if we go outside, you'll get a lot more. You can see the station ahead there. One last warning board before the station. As we come across the road crossing. I'll try and stay on time as best I can, but there's a lot of stops on this when you're doing an all-stopper. There's the stop board for the 3 car, as you can see. So we'll try and hit that as best we can. There it is. That'll do us. Get the doors open. So yeah, very countrified at this end of the route, which is nice to see, isn't it? I like the routes that have a mix of both. You'll see how industrial it gets by the time we reach the Strood end. Let's pop back in. And then we'll be on our way to Wateringbury, which is 1.74 miles. There's the doors closing. Wait for the guard. There we are. Let's acknowledge that. and off we go. Straight into a warning board. Let's have a little talk about the history of the Medway Valley Line itself. So it says, this is all from the Steam manual, by the way, which I think was written by Dovetail Games. So it's all their wording, not mine. But it says the line was built in 2 stages by the South Eastern Railway, or SER. The first stage opened on the 24th of September 1844 and was a branch off the SER's first main line that crossed Kent between the coast ports of Dover and Folkestone and the LB SCR's main line at Redhill. Just keep an eye on the speed. According to a contemporary report in the Times newspaper, the opening of the branch line was an attempt to convey hops and fruit traffic back to Maidstone, which was losing trade due to various points along the Dover line. Do that. Hard to read when you've got so many warning boards. The junction was at Paddock Wood, which is where we started today, and followed the Medway Valley down to the county town of Maidstone that had been bypassed by the new main line. 12 years later, on the 18th of June 1856, the extension of the line... I'm trying to go backwards and forwards. The extension of the line... further down on the Medway Valley was opened to join the North Kent line at Strood, which had opened in 1847. And it says the extension was built by the railway contractor Edward Betts, who lived locally at Preston Hall, and through whose estate the line partially passed. So Betts arranged for his local station at Aylesford, and will be going through Aylesford shortly. He arranged for the station at Aylesford to be built in a much grander style than the other country stations along the line. So that's interesting. Let's have a look out for that once we get there, and just see how that differs. So we obviously came up with some idea there. If you want to, you know, if you're going to come across my land, you're giving me a big local station, I'm going to tell everybody it's mine. That's at Aylesford, that is. So we'll come into Wateringbury and we'll continue this afterwards, but that's a little first potted history of the line. Now Wateringbury here looks like a bigger station. Look, this one looks quite nice. We'll go outside once we get there and take a look. But obviously this is a bit different to a couple of the others we've already passed through. Nice station buildings. They're quite nice assets, those, in Train Simulator Classic, I must admit. It's going to look, you know, I've not said it yet, but obviously this looks pretty good, I think, in TS Classic. But with the spit and polish that you can get from TSW, as long as the blurry textures are fixed, that is, it will look pretty good. It will look very nice indeed. Let's just get the doors open. There we go. So we'll get loaded. It's like the canal down there. So it's not the Medway, is it? I don't think you would have canal barges on the Medway. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The SCR merged with local rival London Chatham and Dover Railway, or the LCDR, on the 1st of January 1899 to form the South Eastern and Chatham Railway. Post World War I, the railways were grouped and the SECR became part of Southern Railway. And it says, for a brief period in the 1990s, some services were extended to Gillingham via Rochester and Chatham. And it says this involved reversing trains and switching tracks at Strood. That's quite interesting. So there's a little bit of a potted history there about the Medway Valley route itself, which I thought you might be interested in if you're like me and you're not familiar with it. And we'll talk about the actual route in TSW in a second. But for now, we're off to East Farley, which is in 2.87 miles. So with a chance to maybe get up to speed here. We can get up to 55 initially. So we'll have a look outside. Make sure the DVD doesn't go off. Of course, let's have an opportunity for the horn, even though we've got several along the route. we'll go back inside. 375, of course, you will have driven already on the Southeastern High Speed and elsewhere. It's been in TSW, hasn't it, for quite a while. But it's somewhere different to drive it. And there's quite a lot of stations on the route, so it's going to be, you know, well, you can see from this, it's going to be exactly like this as far as the stopping pattern goes. So if this is your type of thing, you know, these sort of commuter routes, then, you know, you're in for a treat, I think, looking at this. There's a good mix of everything, though, in this. It looks like. It's kind of like an East Coastway, isn't it? This section of the route. In TSW terms, that is. And I'm hoping... I mean, we've only just found out about this. I'm hoping the release of this isn't that far away. We don't know that yet. This obviously is going to be... I assume there's going to be a December roadmap, isn't there? So I'm assuming that it will be named on the roadmap, and then we'll be able to see which category it's in. If it's in the 0 to 3 months or up to 6 months, or not given a date yet. I don't know. I don't think it said, did it, in the article? We will be looking at the article, as I said, and just reviewing what we do know. There might be something in there. But East Farley is coming up in just over a mile's time. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're already letting it slip, look. We're already going to come in a minute late, according to this. That's just typical for me, isn't it? You'd think I was cheating if I was on time. Let's be honest. Right, that is warning us we need to be down to 40 just before the station. So we'll put step 1 in. Quite easy to drive, isn't it, the 375 generally. There's no drama there usually. It's quite a good, this and the 377, quite a good starter train, I would say, if you're new to train sims. There's others as well, but these two in particular are quite easy for the beginner. The 166, of course, on Great Western Express is another one. I don't know how many of these warning boards we've got. I don't know if you've been counting. There's a few. There is a few. Around this curve, we've got East Farley. Just see the edge of the platform there. And we've got a few people there on the platform, which is nice to see, of course. It's a split platform, as you can see. It's quite deceptive. You're looking over to the right and you think that this platform is going to go as far as that. You would be wrong. It's a staggered platform. Let's open the doors. So, not much at this station, as you can see. Just a little station building. Let's go and have a look. Signal box. But yeah, not much there by way of a station building. It looks boarded up, doesn't it, as well? I'm not sure if that's intentional. I don't actually know when this is set, the route in TS Classic. I'm not sure. But still pretty good. Nice. I'm surprised I've not played this before, you know. So when I picked up TS Classic, I went through a stage of picking up lots of different routes as soon as the sales come up, like many people in Train Sim Classic and Train Sim World. And I took the opportunity when some of the sales are on to just buy up a few of the routes. And I've left them. I've installed them and I left them sat there, and I've not come back to them. Now this is one of them, because this is this is the Chatham Main Line and Medway Valley, but there's another Chatham Main Line and there's something else with Chatham Main Line, Dover and Ramsgate. And it's confusing when you're not from this area as to what the different Chatham Main Lines are all about. So I think there was a newer one after this. I think the Dover one was newer than this. So that confused me. So I thought I was playing the same thing or an upgraded version of, but the Medway Valley I think is only in this version. I would need to check on that, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, it is quite confusing. So that's probably why it's sat there. I've picked it up and I've just left it there. So I've been searching around for new scenarios, and as I said, there's not that many. This one stood out to me straight away because of the distance. And it covers most of what we'll get in TSW. So I thought this one was a good one to do. And it's in nice weather as well. So we get to have a good look at the route. Maidstone West is our next stop. A warning for the speed reduction. Of course, another warning board. What else? We're going to step 2 because we do have a 15 as we come into Maidstone West. But it looks like Maidstone Barracks, just looking down at the hood, Maidstone Barracks is right after Maidstone West, so there's not a lot of distance between those two. I think looking on the route map, there are a few of them that are quite close together. There's a bit of clutter on the track round here, isn't there? But yeah, this is Maidstone West that we're just approaching now. Once we get out of Maidstone Barracks, we'll have a look through the DTG article from Monday, just see if there's anything we've missed there. There was an interview with DTG James in there, and we'll see what DTG James had to say, because I think he's particularly fond of this Medway Valley route, so he's the guy in the know. Past a rather grand signal box there. We're down to the correct 15, which is nice. That's the driver's vigilance device there. So we'll go right up to the signal pretty much for this one. Quite a long platform, this one. Get the doors open as another 375 comes in opposite us. Quick look along the platform at Maidstone West. Yeah, it's already a couple of minutes late now, which is not ideal. But I'll tell you what, reading from a manual and driving a train is not the best thing to do. But you know, I aim to give as much information as I can on these. The alternative is a voiceover afterwards, and it's not the same. Right, Maidstone Barracks, right around the corner in less than half a mile. So let's do this. The 15, this section. Now, I don't know if there's any opportunity for us to claw some of that time back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many like longer sections we've got. But we'll find out quite soon. That might be the only two stations that we've got from and to without a warning board in between, I would say. But that's not surprising, isn't it, given the distance. Right, this is Maidstone Barracks. Again, nothing really to speak of here at Maidstone Barracks. Not particularly impressive in any way, this one. Right, let's check the schedule. After Maidstone Barracks, we have got Aylesford, which, if you remember from the history, is where Edward Betts wanted his grander station building compared to everywhere else because it was going through his land. So we'll see just how much that ranks against the other ones that we've got on the line that we've seen so far. And then we've got New Hive, Snodland, Halling, Cuxton, and then finally Strood. So we're doing all right. Right, shall we listen to it from the outside as we go? Why not? Still quite quiet though. Right, we've got 3 miles to Aylesford, so I'm going to start going through the article from Dovetail. So yeah, Firefly Simulations are the guys that are creating this, and DTG James has said that he's been assisting with research because he knows the line. He's been assisting with the research and the reference material, etc. And he goes on to say that this Medway Valley Line takes you on a tranquil journey, which I would agree with so far. I would agree with going in this direction. Through the Garden of England. I forgot it was called. Kent was the Garden of England. I don't know who named it that. Probably somebody who lived there. He's a bit biased. And it goes from Strood, which is obviously from South Eastern High Speed, and down to via Maidstone to Paddock Wood, where we started, and then onward to Tunbridge. It's a journey that time forgot, with many historical and natural features. And it says grade listed buildings, signal boxes which are still staffed to this day, and also included from the South Eastern High Speed in the route is the stretch from Gravesend to Rainham, enabling gameplay to the likes of Hoo Junction and Gillingham Depot. Let me just acknowledge that. We'll just coast along here for now. We do have to go down to 40. That section, though, of the route has significant uplifts compared to the South Eastern High Speed and brings the route to a total of 26 new and 13 updated miles, which is what we covered when we had a look at the map at the beginning. And we'll just navigate now into Aylesford. And then we'll carry on and see what else he had to say about the stock, etc. that's coming on this route. Now remember, we've got to look at Aylesford for the station building. I'm expecting something pretty spectacular, I must admit. Just depends how it's been depicted in TS Classic. Needs to be down for a 40, ideally. So let's just do that, make sure we do. There's the board. Just over half a mile. I don't think it says anything about the route length, actually, which I probably should have looked at as we started this TS Classic run. See if we could find out how far it was from Paddock Wood to Strood. But it might say, actually, in the notes that we're going to have a look at. Now, around this curve, where's that grand station building? I see chimneys. I see massive chimneys. Here we go. This is what he was talking about. And it is indeed different to what we've seen so far on the run. We'll get out and have a quick look. And I say get out. Don't forget, in Train Sim World, you'll really be able to get out and walk around with this. You can only fly around with the 8 camera on the Train Sim Classic. Unfortunately, you can't walk around. We'll get to the stop board. We'll have a quick look at what Mr. Betts laid down when he laid down the law. Open that. Let's have a look on the 8 camera, shall we? So indeed, you got these grand chimneys. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it is way better, and it is different, isn't it? It's quite a big building with a second floor there, first floor, I should say. Don't know if we can see around the front. It's quite a nice building as far as it's depicted here, isn't it? I think he did right there. He gave up some of his land. Well, whether he gave it up, he may have sold it to the railway. Doesn't actually go into that level of detail, but I suspect so. New Hive is also close, less than a mile, so we're going there next, and then we'll resume the article, see what's coming up, what there is to look forward to. When it was announced, I must admit, I was like, kind of okay, because I really didn't know the route. Honestly, I've no clue. No clue. So this week I've been quickly into it to try to, to find out a little bit more about it. And from so far driving this today with you guys, I can see why it's chosen. It's quite a varied, nice route, this. I'll have to search out in the meantime, a few more scenarios for this, because we could play a bit of this live, because there's a few bits and pieces we could do with it. This is where the industry starts, as you can see to the left there. So let's get ready for New Hive. Now, I don't know whether this station, you locals or you guys that know the route, is New Hive there just for the industry, or was it always a station? Is it a residential sort of area, New Hive? I really don't know, because it's right slap bang in the middle of all this industry. Now, the station could have already been there, and the industry could have grown up around it. Of course, I don't know. I'm always interested to know things like that. But we will make the stop and we'll have a look round. Don't think we've... Yeah, we do have a stop for the 3 car. There it is. That'll do us. Yes, there's quite a lot of industry all around. I'm just trying to see if there's anything residential. I don't really see anything. There's a little bit over there. There's a little bit over there. But yeah, this is New Hive. So we're not that far away, actually, are we? Let's just check it. We've got Snodland, Horling, Buxton, and then Strood. The doors are closing. There we are, we're underway. Snodland is in 1.2 miles. I've noticed something as well while I've been driving this 375. I don't think I've driven it much, you know, the AP version. Again, I pick up a lot of the stuff in the sales, and I don't always play them straight away because I tend to buy things in bulk when there's a sale on. Sometimes I forget just to go back to it, believe it or not. That one was hidden. Yeah, there's something I want to show you down here, actually. I've noticed it. See this line button? Somebody's drawn a face on it. Some witty driver's drawn a little face on it in felt tip pen. Very good. I presume that happens in these cabs. Various things. Right, we can get up to 70, but Snodland is literally around the corner, so we're gonna have to slow down for that. In fact, what we'll do right now is we will just post a little bit, and then we'll go into notch 1, and we'll see if we can get a smooth stop for the passengers this time. Of course, we've got another warning board, so let's do that. So I don't know how, after a few runs, I don't know how difficult it's going to be to run to time, but it's like anything else. Once you've run it a few times, you get used to the stopping distances, and you know a little bit more about the route, and you've done a little bit of route learning. It will get easier. And that's just a learning curve, isn't it? It will probably tell me, because I'm late at a couple of stations, probably tell me I've failed the scenario. But as long as we get there, that's all I'm bothered about, to be honest. In this one, certainly. It's just about having a look at the route. The version that we can see right now, that is. And then we got something to look forward to for those of you that are not familiar. Alright, let's get the doors open. And we'll just step outside. So, going back to the article, it says Firefly have gone above and beyond at every turn, capturing the route to almost picture-perfect detail. It's a wonder to explore. All the level of quality you're used to in the 5 Circle and the West Coast Mainline enhancement mods is present. That's if you're on PC and you've experienced that. We've played that on channel a little bit. The team has got full control by making this route from scratch, which is now something that Gen 9 console players can enjoy too. So, yeah, that is saying that some of the mods and some of the things that these guys, as modders, have introduced to the PC side of things haven't been available for consoles. And therefore, they've been able to incorporate this into this route for Train Sim World as part of the standard build, which is quite nice, isn't it? It just says the level of quality. It doesn't say exactly what, but it's enhancement mods. So, I'm expecting that to mean, it's a standout looking route, I would say, from that. It says that the Class 375/3 is the primary traction on the Medway Valley Line, which is what we're driving now in this run. And there's been a key area of focus for the team, going the distance by implementing a more in-depth simulation of the UK GSMR, which is what we talked about at the beginning, which of course is this bit of kit over here, where we typed in the head code and the starting signal that we were at. And it does say it allows you to key in the head code at the start of every service, So that is coming, which is quite good. And have a simulated conversation with the signaller when contacting them. You'll even hear different voices based on the nearest local signal box. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So even down to that level of detail. Alongside this, the 375/3 is getting a new sound set, full guide mode functionality, proper suspension support, and of course onboard passenger announcements, which I quite like. I do quite enjoy those. I'm just preparing for hauling right now, so we'll put it in notch 1. All this can be enjoyed on the class 375/6, which is also included. So another variant of 375, meaning both 3-core and 4-core versions of the 375 with the old Adtran style headlights are available. So you get 2 versions of the 375. And we'll just make this stop into hauling, shall we? Before we go any further. But from what we've read so far just there, there's obviously going to be a lot of detail, I think, in this route. Little things that have only been available to Train Sim World players on PC up to now with the enhancement mods. They're going to build them in, which is great news for console players. Let's just hope that, you know, the consoles will be able to handle any said enhancement improvements. That will be the key thing, won't it? And I'm sure that is going to be, you know, thoroughly tested by the Firefly team, etc. Because this is, you know, this is their route. And they've already got a lot of experience with those mods, those enhancement mods on the PC. So right, let's open the doors at hauling. A little bit more, it says between Strood and Paddock Wood, which is what we're doing, but in the opposite direction. One can look forward to a steady stream of half-hourly services based on the 2025 working timetable, as well as extended Tunbridge runs and other alternative movements throughout the day. The Class 395, that's the Javelin from South Eastern High Speed, as well as the 465 play considerable roles to add life around North Kent. But also visit the Medway Valley Line on occasions. The Lineside Industry in Aylesford, which we just passed through, as well as Tunbridge West Yard and Hoo Junction, are sure to see plenty of freight action. So that's excellent. And it does mention there are, of course, as we're used to now, going to be a couple of rail tours thrown in to that timetable. It doesn't say specifically what. But I wonder if we'll see the Scotsman. We always seem to see the Scotsman, which I don't mind. I quite like driving the Scotsman, always have. Cuxton is next, by the way, in 1.7 miles. So this is going to be the debut route, of course, for Firefly Simulations. And honestly, you know, I wish them well. It's good. It's good for the sim, or the game, whichever you prefer to call it. It's good for the sim to have all these new developers coming in and stepping forward and getting their hands on the editor, and, you know, really bringing out sections of the route that they're interested in and they know well. Look at Just Trains; they're bringing out routes that they already know quite well. If you're working on a project that you're quite passionate about, quite often it's going to naturally end up very good, isn't it? Rather than being, you know, given a route selected for you and as a developer and saying, right, there you go, get on with that. If you've already got, you know, a lot of local knowledge of it, and you've got a team that are passionate about that particular area, then, you know, it's got to bring good things, hasn't it? That's what I think. That's just my opinion. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that I hope it does well. I really do. This looks really good. I'm quite impressed with this, and this is an old route now. It is slightly tightened up by BAP stuff. However, the route itself, the journey, is quite pleasant, quite relaxing. As I said earlier, good mix of town, industrial, countryside. Yeah, quite a varied route. I like it. Right, we're coming into Cuxton, and I believe after Cuxton, we've just got Strood. So we are a little late, but, you know, it's fine. We've had a good look at the route as we've gone. So we'll get stopped at Cuxton. Seems to have quite a grand station building here as well. I don't know if this now is a private residence or not. Could be. A lot of them are now, aren't they? Just ease up to the end of the platform and then we'll have a look round, as we usually do. Get the doors open. Yeah, so this is the River Medway here coming down, all the way down. And if you refer to the map at the beginning as well, you'll see now as we come to join up to where the Southeastern High Speed is, you'll see the way that the different lines cross against each other. So I'm just looking back on the map right now. So this is Cuxton. Then we've got the Southeastern High Speed to, I believe, the Southeastern High Speed, St Pancras to the left, and Ashford to the right. I think over this bridge here, if I'm in the right area. Let's just bell the guard before we go. What's this coming towards us? The Javelin is coming towards us. There you go. So there's an appearance of the Javelin. That's quite nice. I'm glad we've seen a Javelin somewhere on the route. There goes the Javelin. If you're like me, you've driven that quite a few miles on Southeastern High Speed over the years. And then once we get under this bridge and we start to come into Strood, we'll have a quick look at the bit that you'll recognise if you've been playing the Southeastern High Speed a lot, where you go off to from Strood off to Rochester, and at the other side off to Hoo Junction, of course, with the freight stuff. So we'll take a look at that. But yeah, we got less than 2 miles to go. There's the high-speed line there, as you can see, on that particular bridge. And of course, we got hit by the vigilance device the minute I go out of the thing. Oh dear me! That's always going to happen. Every single time it gets me. All right, we'll see how the vigilance device works on the 375, and it'll bring us to a stop, and then you can see the brakes come back down again. And we can be underway, so it doesn't delay you very much. But that's the aggravating thing that I always mention in the TS Classic. I want to run with all the safety systems on, but if you want to have a look outside, that's the issue you can get. But it's not delayed us very much. We're miserably late, as I mentioned anyway, so we're all right. Okay, we have got 1.5 miles to go. And we got a 35 as we're coming in, and then I think we got down to a 15, if I remember rightly, into Strood. Indeed we do. I can see it coming up in the hood now, in about a mile's time. Just acknowledge that. We will just coast it for a little bit. Put it into notch 1 for the 35. I've quite enjoyed this run, I must admit. I didn't really know what to expect. I've genuinely not run this. So this is the first time I'm looking at the Medway Valley. I don't know anything about the Medway Valley in real life, as I've said, you know, right through. So this is really a first look. And it's one of the first things I do when a new route is announced in TSW. First thing I do, if I'm not familiar with it, is go and have a look in TS Classic and see if we've already got it. So that I can see, you know, what it's all about. And I think this is going to be a good route. I think it's going to be a popular route. But do let me know in the comments what you think. And I hope you've enjoyed this little look at it, by the way. So thank you very much for joining me on this run. And as I would always say, you've not seen it yet, but is this the kind of thing you would buy on day one, or would you wait for a sale? Strood is ahead. You recognise the platforms. If we look out here, you can see Rochester Castle over there. So we come up here. Up here is where we go, and round there to Rochester, and then Chatham, etc. is over there. So that's the bit you recognise. Then onward we go to Who Junction down this side. You'll have departed this platform quite a lot, I would say, over the years, if you're a TSW player of Southeastern High Speed. Absolutely. Now, we do have a 3-car stop right here, so that's where I'm going to attempt to put us down. We'll get the doors open this one last time. And there we go, that is it. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please do give me a like, and also don't forget to subscribe. I'm sure we're going to get more updates from Firefly and DTG about this route over the coming months. We'll look for it on the roadmap. Hopefully we'll get some kind of release indication. But until then, take care. Thanks once again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.